Welcome to the Southern Oracle. I am Shade and I have yet another subject to talk about. Actually, I like it when I go on Facebook groups and somebody comes up with a subject and other people, the ones who are reacting, who are answering, go rather into one direction and I have another point of view in mind, and then this, it's like you have a road. And then there is that small road on the other side that just goes away from this mainstream. So let me read what was written here. So we have an upcoming eclipse, and this is for people who listen to it before the eclipse. Maybe people who are still there after the eclipse have another point of view yet to share with us. So somebody was asking, what's everyone's take on this upcoming eclipse? So Christian Abrahamic communities are speaking of the end of the world, omens, and events that are all tied to this eclipse. So what would be the pagan belief of this? And my first thought in all this was actually, maybe in a certain way, it may be the end of the world for the Christian world, for the Christian concept. And before I go into that direction, as someone said, oh, that would be great, that would be nice, and so on, let me just pick it up at a certain moment. I sometimes wonder if the idea of any kind of end of the world, it doesn't matter if we're talking about an apocalypse or we're talking about Ragnarok, that maybe it is the end of the world. Well, how is it in the song? It's the end of the world as we know it. Maybe it's just that. And when I first read anything about Northern mythology, the thing that I thought was very interesting is that it was written in a way that that wasn't the Edda. It was someone who was explaining Edda and so on, and the mythology. And it was in the 80s. And so the explanation that was there was that actually at a certain moment, so we have Ragnarok, the world in a certain way stopped, and then were the two trees that ended up becoming humans, so Ask and Embla. And the guy said also that Ask and Embla is quite close to Adam and Eve, actually. So I don't want to have a discussion about if he had a source that was reliable and so on, but just to pick up that idea. So when I take a look at Europe, so the Germanic culture, it stopped in something that is quite like Ragnarok, because a lot of people were killed. There were complete nations that were killed, just so that Christianity could get there, and that was the way that Christianity was established in Europe. So so you have the Germanic idea and belief, and I don't want to use the word religion, concept, let's call it concept for a moment, that was that nearly died out in a certain way, and Christianity took over step by step. And now we could have the same thing. Actually, that maybe the apocalypse is that the concept of Christianity stops and will make place for something new. It's a theory, okay? I'm not the person who says this is the way it is. Just for me, it's like a thought I would like to be open to. And then came the answer that it wouldn't. So I said it may finally be the end of their world. And the answer was, wouldn't that be beautiful? And for me it is absolutely clear. If we haven't learned the lesson, then this is going to start all over again. We know how it is. History repeats itself until we understand and learn the lesson. And the answer was very true, but a lot less hate and judgment in the world. And that's exactly where I would like to pick up the subject. How sure can we be that there will be less hate in the world just because Christianity disappears. I am very sorry to tell you so, but I have bad news for you. It is not going to stop there. And there are different reasons. My first reason is very simple. Hate, I am going to quote Yoda, okay, it's fear that starts the thing, okay, and hate comes out of fear. And that fear is as old as humankind. It has something to do with the fear that we had when we were living in caves, okay, and the person who was fearless and who got out and said to the saber-toothed tiger, "Oh, here, kitty, kitty, kitty." We are not from that one. We are from the fearful ones that still stayed in there. And we never healed that fate. So, actually, we did not simply not heal the fear behind it, but we did not heal the hate. So, to believe that just because a part is going to disappear in the outside, that the fear and the hate inside us is going to just disappear. Fear and the hate that is in our genetics for thousands of years, this is not going to happen. And that's actually the point, because the person is going to be stripped of its reason to hate. Okay? Now you say, yes, it's them who hate. No, again, bad news for you. I know I have seen a lot of hate for things that have nothing to do with religions in any way. And I'm not even talking about the stuff about religions and even belief directions in our pagan society. So, here in my country, the ones who drive cars versus the ones who drive bikes. You should just take a look at it. It's awesome. You do not need a religion to fear and to hate. The one who is a vegan versus the one who eats meat. Again, so many religious things I see in all this. So we do not need anything else. Women against men. Just this way, this arrogant way of a lot of women, and God, get me right, I am a woman, but I see it and I say that is not the solution. This is not going to be any kind of healing. Sort of, we do not need men. It's not going to work. All this arrogance behind it, okay, because the moment Christianity will completely fail and will disappear, it is not that pagan people are going to say, no, we can't try and live in peace. No, they're going to say, ha, there you see it, you were wrong. This arrogance will, honestly, it will hit back into our faces in another turn of Ragnarok. And this is going to happen if we don't stop this inner fight that we are going to show in the outside. I have seen people, sort of spiritual people, who told me that they were so nice and they were light and love. When there was COVID, and they said, this is the turn, now things are going to turn. And I said, yes, there are a lot of people outside who are still struggling, who still have not yet found their place in spirituality. Let them drown. That's not our problem anymore. They had all the time. If they haven't found it yet, I am not going to save them. That's the arrogance of spirituality. That's the arrogance we're showing against Christianity. Don't get me wrong, okay? What happened when Christianity just fell upon us, upon every kind of people who is not Christian? And I really have been raised like this in a very Catholic country. So it wasn't an easy task for my parents, for example. But I have never shown hate against them. My father, for example, his mother was very Christian. She was Catholic. And when she died, my father, just out of respect, asked the priest of our church if there was a possibility that he was going to hold a mass for her. And he said, you do not need to pay anything, but promise me that you are going to send your children to my church. And my father's reaction was a smile, and he said, I am not going to send them to your church, but I'm going to promise you that I'm not going to send them to any other church. You have to deal with that. How much should I pay for the Mass? He was not aggressive. He was not trying to fight anything there. He just tried to protect his kids. That's it. And just to think that all this is still a fight, that means that the fight is inside of you. And if someone takes away the reason of your fight, you are going to find something else. And especially the northern, and I'm talking about New Age Azatru, I'm talking about New Age Germanic directions. Okay, I'm not talking about those who have a clear mind in this. I don't know, how often do I read on pages that they are just waiting for something, so they want to go to Valhalla. And then you want to take away the fight they have against Christians. What are they going to fight then, so they can end up in Valhalla? They want to go there. They still believe that that is the absolute thing. So you are going to tell me that the moment that Christians are not there anymore, that hatred, fear and arrogance will stop? No, this is not going to happen like this. Either we start turning this onto us and saying, okay, I don't care about Christian because I live, as I said, in a place where it is very Christian, okay? And I'm telling myself, honestly, I don't care, okay? As far as it is possible, I live my life. I don't need to have to rub in to anyone that I am not Christian or what direction I have. And I'm trying to find that peace inside of myself. I'm trying to heal those fears inside of myself who do not come from Christianity, but from our caveman world. And we are all those cavemen, Christians as pagan alike. So that's not the point. And that is the moment when you really become aware that you are responsible for it, okay? And it is not because you're saying, okay, when this happens, then it is going to to change inside of myself. No, either you are going to change it inside of yourself and then it can happen in the outside. It's not the other way around. Don't make other ones responsible for your life with or without fear or with or without hate. It's their hate. You think so? The moment they disappear, you will still be there, left with your own hate, and you will not have anything to project that hate on. So maybe this gives you an idea that the idea of the end of the world as we see it, as we live it, should consider every one of us. Just to turn inside and to check on it, and then becoming aware that it doesn't matter if we know what we are fighting for or what we are fighting against, that the point is that we are still fighting. And that maybe it is about time to find another way. There is a saying in, not simply in NLP, what I learned, but also, for example, in the principles of the Kahuna, where they say that Pono, efficiency, is the measurement of truth. This hate in every way, this arrogance, this eagerness to fight because we want to end up in Valhalla, all this didn't work. So it's not the truth. The measurement is that it's not the truth. So maybe you should start becoming open to yet other possibilities and options. So there will be those who say no, and maybe there will be those who say it's worth a try. And I welcome those who say it's worth a try. Thank you for listening.